Hello and welcome to GPTV on Tuesday the 15th of March. My name's Philip Kingston.
And I'm Gary Pearce.
And Gary, I'm pumped.
Episode 201.
Pumped, I'm excited, I'm invigorated. And yes, it is episode 201, but you may well ask why I'm so pumped and excited.
You sound a bit hoarse, actually.
No, I'm not hoarse.
You sound like a little horse.
You're going to ask me why I'm so pumped and excited?
No. Viewers, it's a great...
I'm pumped and excited because I've had a weekend off, Gary. The
right?
Labor Day long weekend.
Really?
And for those viewers that are looking at me now on screen thinking, he looks just so good. He's got a bit of a tan.
Do you know what I reckon?
He's feeling good.
I reckon a good job is to be your hairdresser. Because how much does he... You get it cut, it's so short, and then you get it cut again.
Every 2 weeks.
He's got the best job. Are you his only client?
Every 2 weeks.
A
Bit of a shout out to Hollywood Haircutters and David, who does do my hair.
I used to play cards
the
with
second
David.
Thursday at 10 a.m. I'm there.
Does he toss you for the fee? Because I used to play cards with David. He's a bit of a punter. Doesn't mind a bit of a punt.
No, he's a great hairdresser, and I do have my hair cut every 2 weeks. Thank you for noticing, Gary. And I'm noticing your chin, because when I look at your chin here, right, you've actually got more chins than a Chinese phone book
don't say
now.
that, Philip. It's very unkind of you, Philip. And
You have.
you know, I probably should have left the pasta out last week, but that's okay. We'll be fine.
I don't think that's pasta you've got in those chins. I reckon that's gnocchi.
It could be. Thanks very much for that, Philip.
Potato gnocchi.
Thanks very much for that.
Anyway, I'm pumped and excited, and
know
I've
what's
got a little bit
sad?
of a flush of colour because I've had a weekend in Sydney,
I
Gary.
think it's sad when older people have trouble putting on weight, Phil. I think it's sad. I think it's something we should be joking about. I'm not going to draw attention to you about that any further. Talk about Sydney.
Sydney was great. Gary had a weekend in Sydney.
Yeah.
I love Sydney. It's a crap city in comparison to Melbourne, but it's a great city.
What did you do there?
What did I do?
Exactly. What did you do?
I went out for breakfast. I went out for lunch.
Where'd you go?
I had dinner with my sisters.
Lovely.
And their brother and my brother-in-laws.
Yes.
I walked the Bondi to Bronte.
Yes. Walk the dog?
Clifftop walk.
Yeah.
No, my sister Sarah walked her dog.
Nice.
Can't say that I would have taken her dog on my own. But
Let's
anyway,
talk
it was a
about-
lovely weekend.
Yeah.
And Sydney prices, Gary. Sydney prices are not normal.
No, it's
So
insane there.
lucky-
And the market's come off a bit.
It has.
And it's still insane.
But the prices, I reckon, on average, prices in Sydney are 30 to 35% higher.
In some cases, 50%. I reckon.
Yeah.
Depending on the city.
So, we're very lucky we live in
Yeah.
Melbourne, Gary. And this is
Yeah.
a Melbourne show, but...
And
a lot
people
of-
complain about how expensive it is, and you're right, it is expensive, but next to Sydney, Philip, it pales into insignificance.
It does.
In terms of the
It does.
expense. Let's talk
And
a bit
what's
about...
the big deal about Sydney? They've got that harbour, and they all
have.
look at the harbour and they go,
have.
gee, the harbour. But, if you took the harbour out of Sydney,
Yes.
what would they have, Gary?
They would have a big hole with no water in it. Phil, let's talk... They have an opera house just sitting with a dirt bowl next door to it.
Yeah.
Philip, let's talk about what's going on in the world of real estate because it's exciting. It's episode 201. By the way, thank you to Nora. She did tell us that there have been some shows that have been more than 201 or 200.
Yep.
Hey
What are
Saturday,
they? Yeah.
over 500, Philip.
There were 500 episodes.
Over
of Hey-
500 according to Nora.
Wow,
So
wow.
the mail is...
And a bit of a shout out to Nora and Peter. I reckon they're our number one viewers.
They are
Gary.
our number one viewers.
And
Philip.
we should do
In
something
fact,
nice.
In fact,
for
they're our
them.
number one and number two viewers, and I'm not sure there's any other viewers. So
we
this show is exclusive for Nora.
We
and
should
Peter.
actually do something nice for them. Whether we will or not, it's another thing, but we should.
Blue Healers, 510 episodes, Philip. The Sullivans, 1,114 episodes.
That is bizarre.
It
That
is
goes
bizarre.
to show really how sad Australia is.
Well, it gets sadder, Phil. Home and Away, 6,377 episodes.
There are not.
Yes,
Really?
and Neighbours, 7,315 episodes, according to Nora, if that's correct. Is that?
I'm
sound
not sure
right?
that's possible.
I'm not sure.
I mean-
Are you having us on, Nora? Anyway, maybe she is, but that's the.
If
that's
it's
the number
true,
ten.
it's huge. Can you imagine what this show's going to look like when we're up to episode 5,000?
Exactly right.
You are going to be sitting
What
in
do
an aged care facility,
right.
and you're going to have chins going right down the street.
And you're going to be a meek little fellow, trying to eat your puree vegetables. It's going to be fun. Let's talk a bit about the awards, Philip, because the awards are going to be next week. We're going to release the results of the awards. We're going to hold it back a little bit, but
and
the finalists for the awards again, the Australian Real Estate Awards, Philip, are the Outstanding Corporate Support Person of Australia, could be our own and much loved
Eliza Carr,
our number one salesperson in Australia, Philip. We've already got it in Victoria. could be in Australia, is Jeremy Rosen's.
Yep.
So
St
it's
Kilda
very
office, if
exciting.
you
St
need
Kilda
to
office,
ring him.
if you need to call him, if you want the best, go and speak to him.
Yep.
The number one achiever, young real estate achiever, Philip, is Judy Zhu.
Judy Zhu.
From our own office, there's a lovely shot of her. Good on you, Jude. Good luck. And of
No
course,
one calls her Jude.
I call her Jude.
Well, you go, hey Jude.
Yeah, they call her that. They call her that all around the world. Called her that in
No
China.
one's ever called
When she was
Judy
born, her parents
Jude.
said, "Hey, Jude." You know, they were so excited to have her. She's called Jude everywhere, Philip.
Yeah,
You're
okay,
you're
she's
just not with
not.
it. Of course she is. And of course we've got the Communications Award, which probably, you know, is something to do with us and this show. So we'll see how we go. Hopefully
how we
it's,
go.
Winning for GPTV.
Yep.
Philip, there's no auctions to review because you were away in Sydney, so you could review
It
the
was
Sydney
not
auctions.
because I was away, Gary. It was
Yeah, it
because we
was.
had a long weekend.
Okay,
and,
it
and
was.
viewers, we don't auction often on long weekends.
But the numbers of buyers around was very healthy.
Gary, the open for inspections were well attended.
They were very well attended.
You know, Melbourne does take an auction break over a long weekend or Easter or major things happening in Melbourne, like the grand final.
25 auctions coming up this week, Philip, including a couple of commercial
Ooh.
auctions. We're going to be all over the place. Can we review them, and shall we?
Well, let's get stuck into it, Gary.
Let's start off, Philip, with our commercial auction. We're going to be working on these incredible property in Glen Huntly Road, Caulfield, Philip. This one is going to be, I think it's in conjunction, is that right?
Gary, we are with our dear friend Abe Weiser
We love
from
Abe
Weiser
Weiser.
Real Estate.
He's a good man,
He's
isn't
a
he?
terrific guy. We love
Yeah.
him very much. There's a lot of agents we don't like, but Abe is one of the ones that we like immensely.
right.
So shout out to you, Abe, should you be watching the show, and we hope you are, because it'd be a waste of time giving you such a big plug if you're not.
does. He
Anyway,
wouldn't miss it.
2 shops and an office upstairs. This is a really good building. And I've got to tell you, investors watching the show, that is a bit of a sleeper area that is on the rise, and we would certainly recommend that property.
If you want some extra chins, you can buy your own sandwich bar, Philip. We've got one for sale at 55D, Kooyong Road in Caulfield North. Take us through this
Gary,
one.
you've again misdescribed the property because it's not a sandwich bar. It's a shop with a dwelling. There is a sandwich bar in the strip, but this is not it. And this is this is a great opportunity to get into
Is
the
this the
market.
next door to the sandwich bar?
Gary, just
Well, there's an arrow on the brochure. It says sandwich bar. What am I supposed to think?
Leave this to me, please. Anyway, this is a really good property. Kooyong Road in Caulfield North, in that busy little strip. It's terrific.
That's on Thursday, Phil. We haven't even got to the weekend yet. And Saturday, we've got like 10 or 11 different suburbs all over the place. We're starting off with this beautiful looking period home in a wonderful location, Albert Street in Caulfield North.
Stunningly renovated, 4 bedrooms, 2.5 bathrooms, and off-street car parking with a carport stroke garage at the rear for 2 cars. Gorgeous facade and great spot there, Gary.
Been well received, Philip. You're going to be auctioning that one. I'm going to be co-auctioneer at 10:30 in Lantana Road, Gardenvale. Interesting property. I like
Gary,
the look of this.
we're loving these villas, 2 or 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, off-street car parking for 2 cars, double garage. That is a really good property. We love that real estate.
It's a triple auction frenzy at 11:30, Philip. We start off in Alma Road, 6 at 229 Alma Road. You're going to be auctioning this fantastic property. Actually, you're not. Jeremy Rose is going to
2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, 1 car space. Great location and a beautifully renovated apartment.
You'll be hanging out in Beauville Avenue in Murrumbina. This is an incredible street. I had the pleasure of auctioning one there not so long ago, Philip. It was very popular, and this one is expected to be also.
Viewers, get all over Murrumbina. The reason we opened our Carnegie office was to service this area as well, obviously, as Carnegie. That's 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, a corner block, good parcel of land, and that area just gets more and more expensive.
I will be in Hodder Street in Brighton East, Philip, at 11:30 on Saturday, auctioning this property for Leon Guzenfeld.
Another single-storey villa, Gary, 3 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, 1 lock-up garage, beautifully and immaculately renovated throughout. Good real estate.
Triple auction action continues at 12:30. Philip, Jeremy Rosen's auctions this wonderful property.
You're loving saying triple auction action, aren't you? I
Carlisle
might get
Street.
you a T-shirt for your
enjoying
birthday which says triple auction action.
Would you do that for me?
I might,
Thank
Gary.
you.
And of course, Carlisle Street. We love Carlisle Street. 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom, beautiful landscaped areas, and beautifully renovated.
You're going to meet Darren Crongold and his team on Kooyong Road, Philip. We're in Elstonwick, where we excel at 12:30 on Saturday.
Gary, these single-storey villas just keep coming thick and fast. 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, double lock-up garage. That is a really good home.
Now allow me to review this property, Philip, because I'm going to be the auctioneer. We're in Marriott Street on Saturday at 12:30. I'm going to be meeting the wonderful Maxine there. Now this is a terrific apartment. It's on the ground floor, but it's an oversized apartment, Philip. It's got 2 good-sized bedrooms, but look at the size of the living area. A separate lounge, a separate dining, balcony, north facing, terrific kitchen and a great block with parking.
It is oversized, Gary, very much like your chin. So let's move on to 2A Carmody
Let's go
Street
to Burwood,
in Burwood.
shall we, Phil? Graham Callan's going to be there at 1:30 p.m.
What a pretty
Take us through
home that is, Gary. It's a picture postcard, perfect facade, 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, double lock-up garage. Pretty as a picture, Gary.
We're going to whip and work you hard on Saturday, Philip. We're going to be in Blackwood Street, Ormond at 2:30, but you've got more work to do.
You're going to whip me, are you,
Yes,
Gary?
Phil.
Well, clearly
Much
your
your delight.
fantasies are showing through on the show, and we won't go into that. But 5 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, and double lock-up garage. A stunning masterpiece of a home.
Well, GPTV was shot from here last week, Philip, and this is a stunning home. One of Elswick's finest offerings, if not the best this year. 8 Orong Road, Elswick, Philip.
I think there's no doubt that it's the best offering in Elstonwick this year, Gary. 8 Orong Road, Elstonwick, a big, glamorous family home that's been beautifully renovated from the front door to the back fence. 4 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms, off-street car parking for 4 cars, and a Port Douglas environment around that pool in the back garden.
It's a beautiful thing. We look forward to being there. I'll meet you there, Phil, Saturday afternoon at 3:30.
All right, Gary, I'll meet you there, will I?
It's a date.
Good.
But you can't
Look
stay
forward
there,
to
Phil.
it.
You can't stay there. I'll stay there if need be, but you can't because you're off to Gardenvale Road, just around the corner for this modern masterpiece, Phil.
Oh, Gary, it is. 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, a lock-up garage and another car space. Beautifully presented throughout. Shout out to the vendors who've just done the greatest job presenting this to the market. A lovely home, Gary.
Double auction actions commences Sunday morning, Philip, at 10:30 in Crimea
You're
Street.
just loving this double and triple auction action, aren't you?
I'm loving all the auction action, Phil, but I love this home because I lived right next
Yes,
door to this.
you did.
You lived across the
Did,
road,
Gary.
but the house didn't look like this when I lived there, Phil.
Well, I've got to tell
This
you,
is
Gary,
stunning.
when you lived in Crimea Street,
Yes.
the neighbours were not happy because you lived there when you were single. I, on the other hand, lived in Crimea Street when I was married, so I was much
did.
better behaved. But
Exactly.
you...
All the fun was
I've
across
got
the road
to
of our place,
I've got to
Phil.
tell you, the neighbours in the street used to tell me about the seedy-looking people coming in at all hours to your apartment.
Yeah.
But thankfully...
Those were the days.
Thankfully, Gary, you did get married, grow up, have a
Yes.
family, and
Yes.
left those days behind you.
I
4 or
did.
5 bedrooms, 3.5 bathrooms, and just a stunning house with the most contemporary, fabulous renovation.
It is a beauty, Philip. We're looking forward to doing that one. I'm going to join you at 10:30 on Sunday morning, Phil. But Leo Samuel won't be joining us because he's got other commitments in Glenhuntly, McGowan Avenue, Phil.
Loving McGowan Avenue, loving Glen Huntly, loving our Carnegie office. 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and a lock-up garage, Gary. Stunning.
11:30am has been dedicated for one auction only, Philip. That is this home in Sycamore Street in Caulfield South. I'll meet you there. You've been involved with this property,
Gary,
I
I
think.
know this house well, and shout out to the vendors, the most delightful people. 5 bedrooms, 2.5 bathrooms, double lock-up garage. Move straight into that home, Gary, and don't spend a cent.
The power team of Krongold Zellman handling that one, Philip, and we're looking forward to it. Elza, the magnificent auctions. Well, she doesn't auction, but she handles the property. You'll be auctioning at 15 Mitchell Road. I love Mitchell Road. It's
I
a
do.
really,
I
it's
do
a bit of a
too.
secret, isn't it? But there's been a little bit of action lately. You probably won't see anything for sale for another 20 years there.
Gary, this is a wonderful home redeveloped by David Edelman, the fabulous architect. This is 3 bedrooms, 2.5 bathrooms, plenty of off-street car parking, lock-up garage, a stunning, absolutely stunning property. I'm looking forward to the auction. That should go well.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, this home's never been sold before, or certainly hasn't been sold in probably 40 or 50 years. 183 Orong Road, Philip. There's been a lot of sort of lovers of this era, this kind of, as you would call it, cubic style real estate.
Gary,
Philip.
I'm glad that you've been paying attention because I am the man that can describe architecture so brilliantly well because it is a passion of mine.
It is.
And it's good to see that it's been rubbing off on you. This is 60s cubic architecture, Gary.
Thank you.
This was the movement of post-war architects that came
Yes.
out mainly from
Europe,
from Austria, actually.
Das ist schön, ja.
Anyway,
They make it nice and square, ja. Das ist gut.
they pioneered cubic homes,
they did,
3
yeah.
bedrooms, 2.5 bathrooms, carport
Yep.
for 2 cars. I get a lot of joy driving past that house. I think it's a beauty.
And I am going to be auctioning it, Philip.
Are
I'm
you?
looking forward
I'm
to
not
it,
doing
yes.
that one, Gary?
You're not doing
Okay,
that. I'm going to
that's
be
a shame.
auctioning it. I might do the whole thing in a German accent just for fun.
You may well do that, Gary, and alienates probably a big portion of the market.
That's it. It is a wonderful property, though, and there's been good interest, and it's quite affordable.
Viewers, for those of you that don't know, Gary's parents hailed from Austria.
I did, Vienna.
From Vienna, and they were lovely, lovely people and very precise people.
They were,
and
they were.
Austrians do tend to be very,
Exacting,
very
Philip.
precise people.
That's exactly
If you
right.
ever have a conversation with an
Particular.
Austrian, make notes afterwards because they will remember everything you said and repeat it back to you verbatim.
Yeah.
That's the Austrian way. And I love Austrians.
Exactly right.
I also love strudel.
Yes, we got some good strudel at our place after the schnitzel, didn't you, Phil? As we were growing up. Mind you, I had a little bit more than you did, I think.
Clearly, Gary.
That's the theme.
And,
Thanks for that. Okay. You don't need to
clearly,
run with it.
you're still eating a lot of
5
strudel.
Dunbar Avenue, Philip. What a great address this is.
It is a great address,
I am
Gary.
doing the auction honours on this one.
You've got
I've got
good
some
stock
prestige
this
ones
weekend
and pushing
that
you
you're
out of the
doing.
way.
You are. I should be doing all of
Adam
these.
Josky's handling this. Tell us
4
about this.
bedrooms, 2.5 bathrooms, double lock-up garage. That's a great house, Gary, and Dunbar's a fantastic
Well,
address.
this part of Caulfield North, that we're in now,
Yes.
and Dunbar and Maurice Street, we'll talk about Mitchell. They're all great developing streets.
They are. They are.
And 19 Maurice Street, which is across the road from the feature home of the week, but feature street of the week. Talk to us about this
Gary,
home.
again, a brilliant home. And the architect of this home came out of this post-war European
Who was it?
school. But this architect of this particular home that we're talking about now
Number 19.
worked for Ernest Fuchs.
Yes.
So he's out of the Ernest Fuchs camp, 3 or 4 bedrooms, 2.5 bathrooms, undercover parking for 2 cars, and a west-facing stunning back garden.
Now, this is a very interesting property in Atlee Grove, Philip. This one goes off at 2:30 p.m. You're the auctioneer, and you've got a very big day of auctions. I think you're doing 7 or 8 auctions. You're doing 8 auctions. That's just mad.
Gary,
Anyway,
whilst most
you
auctions
can-
are doing 2 or 3 and then going home and putting their feet up and going and saying to their family, "Oh, I'm so exhausted."
After my 2 auctions? or
Yeah,
my auction,
yeah.
yes.
I'm going 10:30, 11:30, 12:30, 1:30, 2:30, 3:30, 4:30, sometimes 5:30. And at 5:30, when I finish my 5:30, I go, why is there not a 6:30 or 7:30
We'll go off
auction?
and do a charity auction. You do
Correct,
that sometimes?
I do
too?
that sometimes, Gary. We are talking about Atlee Grove, which is a fantastic position,
It
walking
is.
distance to the absolutely fabulous Glenara village.
Yes, the buzz and hum.
The buzz, and we did refer the Glenara
Oh,
village
don't
as
do it
to
again.
Williamsburg, but I want to say a
People
special...
people don't want to hear about places in Russia, okay?
Gary, I want to shout out
Yes.
to Maury, right, who was kind enough to correct me on my explanation of Williamsburg.
Yeah.
But a shout out to Maury and a shout out
he
to
Russian?
Maury's
Does he
son.
come from Russia?
Maury's son has got the most fantastic cafe in the Glenara village called Spout, of which we are regulars there, and a special shout out to Spout because it is
shout out to
a
Spout.
fantastic cafe. Anyway, Atlee Grove is 4 bedrooms, 2.5 bathrooms, and off-street car parking
And
for 2
there's
cars.
a Mrs. Rubens that's over
No,
up
it's
there.
Miss Rubin,
I beg your
Gary.
pardon. I didn't know about the marital status, Philip. I'm sorry. No offence, mate. Meant there, but it's a good place. Great
Have you
soup.
been there, Gary?
Oh, it's some soup and salad, Phil.
Did you? I haven't been there yet, so we must go and have a look.
We
In
may.
fact, we
But
should
the
go
house.
down, we should have a lunch
How
there.
good's the house, though, Phil?
In Atlee?
Yeah,
Fantastic.
did you wrap it up already?
We've moved on, Gary.
Okay, let's then to our final auction, Kilwinning Court, Philip. Now, tell us about this. It's an interesting property. It's an interesting setup. I don't understand what's going on there, but you've been involved.
Gary, it's 2
Talk
villas
us.
to be offered separately,
Yes.
and they are great 1960s/70s villas. Kilwinning Court viewers, if you've got any background as to why a court in the middle of East
Kilwinning,
Kilda is called Kilwinning, no doubt it's a Scottish name, I
Put
would
Kilwinning
imagine.
in a sentence. Why is that?
No doubt it's a Scottish name, but any viewers that want to do some background research on Kilwinning before the auction, so I can
Why is it
mention it at
Scottish?
the auction.
Why is
I
it
don't know, it
Scottish?
sounds Scottish, doesn't it? Well, it's not a Polish or Austrian name, is it?
Probably not.
But Kilwinning.
Don't
Anyway,
think it hails from
Kilwinning's a
Asia.
little court that is a secret because if you've never been to Kilwinning Court, you probably don't know it.
No, it's
but
just
it
off
comes off
Balaclava
Balaclava Road,
Near
which becomes
Hotham?
Carlisle Street. So
Yeah.
literally you can bounce out of bed in Kilwinning Court, put on your kilt and walk down Carlisle
Yeah,
Street
blow your
and,
bagpipe.
and have a coffee at Las Chicas.
You can,
Bit
and
of
why
a plug
wouldn't you?
there for them too. But that's good real estate, Gary.
That's a big wrap, Phil.
Big
Big
wrap.
weekend.
How many
of
auctions was that?
25 auctions, Philip, over the weekend, and including 2 commercial auctions, and all over Melbourne, like
And
13
we've said it
suburbs.
before, Gary, but I'm going to say it again. 25 auctions in a weekend is more auctions than we had in our first year in business.
It is, Phil.
That's pretty exciting.
and we
So I
love
don't
it.
want you to ever forget that,
No, I
Gary, because
wouldn't.
I don't want you to take it for granted.
No,
I don't
because-
want you to become Mr. Big Shot
No, it's
that
not
doesn't
gonna
remember our humble background.
I would never be that person. You know that. It's a big review, Philip, in our 30th year. We'll talk a bit about that at some stage too. But special guest next week. Before we go,
Yeah.
where are we?
Where are we,
Have a
Gary?
look at this
Where are we?
beautiful home.
Well, we're in
They come up
Maurice
so
Street.
real-
Is it
really.
Maurice or Morris? I'm
I
going
say
with
Morris.
Morris. Yeah.
Yeah, I like
okay.
Morris too.
Yeah. But if you're a French...
Hang on, you're going to go Morris?
No, I'm with Morris, but
Well,
if you're
I'll
a
go Maurice.
Frenchman, you're probably going Maurice
I'm going
Street.
Maurice.
But if it was Maurice, it would be
No, that would be
Maurice.
Maurice.
All right.
I'm
Okay.
gonna go Morris.
Viewers,
You go Morris.
we're in Morris Street.
One of us will get it right.
And this is a fabulous house built by one of the area's best builders. And this has got the most amazing floor plan, beautiful bedroom accommodation. Every bedroom here has got access to an ensuite bathroom. You've got beautiful entertaining areas, a formal lounge dining room, a kitchen with a meals area, and of course this al fresco area that we're sitting in now, Gary, with its retractable roof that's rain sensitive. You've got a family room, everything that can be opened or shut is here, Gary.
One of the real prestige offerings of Caulfield North in what I consider to be the equivalent of the Golden Mile. It's
Well, it is the Golden Mile.
Well, it is the Golden Mile.
Gary, let's be clear about where the Golden Mile is.
Okay.
Right? Traditionally, the Golden Mile ran between Glen Ira Road and Balaclava Road, and then between Orrong Road and Kooyong Road. Now, clearly, this street is in that framework. Now, we have stretched the Golden Mile pretty much now to wherever we want to stretch it to.
So there's a Golden 2 or 3 mile, really.
Well,
isn't it?
basically, the Golden Mile, really, we now talk about between Orrong Road and now Hawthorne Road.
Yep. So we're going to call this the Golden Mile.
So Gary, you can see that I'm stretching the Golden Mile to include your home.
Thank you very much.
So the Golden Mile, Glen Ira to Balaclava Road, and
you live in Armadale.
Orrong Road.
Is that also the Golden Mile?
Orrong Road to Hawthorne Road, but we're now stretching it again from Glen Ira Road all the way up to now. I'm going all the way up to Dandenong Road.
Very good, okay. So basically all of Caulfield is a Golden Mile.
Basically, wherever Gary Peer and Associates is selling, it might not be the Golden Mile, but we bring a Golden Mile marketing techniques to you. Whether you're selling a one-bedroom apartment or a multi-million dollar mansion.
Even if we're selling something in Melton, it's a Golden Mile, isn't it?
Correct.
Doesn't matter where it is, it's Golden Mile.
Because we say that any property that we are blessed
Once
to
we've got
be
our label on
entrusted
it,
with, then it's Golden Mile Real Estate.
Look, good luck for the awards.
In fact, your chin is a bit of a Golden Mile chin.
leave
It
my chin.
stretches for a mile now, doesn't
I'm
it?
going on a diet. But look, that's a big wrap on
You're going on a
GPTV.
diet, are you?
I'm going now because
Well, can I make a suggestion? You don't actually
I
go
don't want
on
your
a-
suggestions.
Don't go
I don't
on a
need it.
diet because diets are unsustainable. What you do need is to change your lifestyle.
What you need to do is just to change your mouth style and stop talking so much. That is a big wrap on GPTV. We hope the awards go our way. We're very proud of our finalists.
And if we don't win anything, we will not be talking about it next week. There'll be no further mention of the award
happen. We didn't
ceremony.
know. We weren't there.
Having said that, how tedious is it? It's black tie again. The penguins. I hate black tie.
Can't we just go shorts and a
Viewers,
t-shirt?
if you're going to have a function, don't make it black tie.
Anyway, we'll be
Sick
black
of it.
tie. And next week's special guest could well be, we're just confirming details, so stay tuned because it's very exciting who we've got on next week if it all comes together as we think it will. But
Do you reckon it's that exciting? I mean, he's a good person.
Well, if you watch this, it's exciting.
Yeah,
And let's face it, Peter and Nora watch this, so it'll be exciting for them because they're our viewers. So thanks, Peter and Nora, for tuning in this week. That's a big wrap on GPTV. I'm Gary Peer.
I'm Philip Kingston. Have a fabulous week.